Hi everyone, I'm Kariba Devine and welcome to 12 News in Focus. Every week we take a look back at some of the great stories brought to you from our 12 News journalists. On today's show, a major milestone for a local maternal flight nurse. And one Chandler family is dealing with a neighborhood nuisance. But first, keeping yourself safe during wildfire season.
Residents near Scottsdale and Camelback Roads are extra vigilant of their surroundings these days.
I've been hearing things on the roof from time to time.
After Jeff Lowe says his neighbor began hearing strange noises from her attic a few days ago.
And I even went out 2 weeks ago, put on the lights at night, but saw nothing.
So she heard that around 2 o'clock in the morning, just kind of laying there in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering what it was. And we came out the very next day, got up on the roof to do our inspection.
An inspection that Werner Swenson with Critter Evictor says had surprising results.
Initially, we thought we were just going to have another roof rat call out here, which it wasn't. When we got up there, I was like, oh, that is a hole.
A hole the size of a cantaloupe.
We were able to get the lights down in there, and as soon as you got those lights in, you just start to see some glows back at you.
They were the eyes of a female bobcat, possibly with babies, who made the attic their new home.
If you go up there, you talk to the animal, you're nice and cool about it. Hey, Mr. Bobcat, it's me, Werner, Critter Evictor. Everything's okay, just checking it out here. They usually stay cool, we show respect for them.
It was rather large.
Lowe says he and others have seen it before.
I didn't know it was a bobcat. I thought it was a mountain lion.
And admires its beauty, but would feel more comfortable if it were from a distance.
Arizona's a friendly place. Live and let live. But not next door to me.
And this is what we call a temporary plug. And this is how I can watch for activity on the hole.
Swenson is now in the process of helping the bobcat self-evict from the property.
We don't want to handle the animals if we can all avoid it. Trapping is always our last measure. So what we want to do is we want to put a little bit of pressure. Me going up there every single day and her getting to see me, she's going to be like, man, this guy's back again. I don't know what his deal is, but I don't like it here. I'm going to grab the babies. I'm going to head on out.
Which it seems the feline has already done.
They didn't do anything wrong. They're just looking for a quiet area. I'm just going to let them know this isn't the house for you. Let's move it on out and we'll get it sealed up.
And neighbors are okay with that. Do you think you'll see this bobcat again?
Probably.
Hopefully from a distance this time.
From a distance.
Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
There is no one in PHI that does not know the name Leanne.
There's Michael Jordan for basketball, Michael Phelps for swimming. Then there's Leanne McGregor for maternal flight nurses.
We transport our moms from anywhere that either does not have labor and delivery services to somewhere that has labor and delivery services.
I'll sit over here or over there depending on who's with us or where equipment is strapped securely. 360, I've done 360.
Leanne has been doing this for 40 years and still loves it today. Why? Because she's not only helping the community, but shaping the future of the country with healthy babies.
You hold her hand, you're as a nurse, but you're trying to get as much information non-judgmentally. And the way your tone and your nonverbal approach to them, you can get a lot by just having respect for the patient.
So compassionate and caring and knowledgeable, and she has such a passion for who we take care of and the need that needs to be filled.
Leanne is an ASU alum, born and raised in Arizona, and has been helping develop one of the most prestigious maternal neonatal units in the country right here in the Valley, and recently hit an unthinkable milestone of 5,500 flights.
I don't count them.
Somebody's doing it.
I know, someone counts it, but I don't.
I think it's absolutely amazing. I think that's probably not even the full amount that she's actually done. I think we lost count at some point, so.
Most of Leanne's career has been spent at Sky Harbor, and she says the number of flights has remained steady over the years, but they can see up to 5 to 6 calls in a 24-hour shift.
It's hard. Sometimes it's a sad situation, but our goal is to take care of the mom to have the best outcome for her, her family, psychosocial, and have a healthy baby as much as we can.
Leanne says the industry has changed over the years, like the kinds of helicopters they use and also the age range and physical health of the patients.
Outside the valley, they're acute because the level of care is not provided at the small rural areas.
Just following her footsteps is honestly a dream of mine at this point, as well as I'd say anyone at our base. And I think we could just strive to be her.
Do you have an idea when you're gonna hang up the flight suit?
Next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yes, I'll be of age.
Okay. Yeah. In Phoenix, Troy Lynch, 12 News.
Here in the Valley of the Sun and the outskirts, we see a lot of the salt cedar and the low-lying brush, but depending on the elevation up in the high country, a dramatically different landscape. That all changes how crews fight a fire when one ignites.
Every wildfire tells a different story, written by the land it burns through.
Just a little north into Payson, we jump right into pine trees, and that needle cast becomes a different thing that you have to fight. You go a little further south and you have grass for days. It's a different tactic, a different way we fight these fires.
Incident Commander Burl Teague explains what can be challenging.
We in Arizona have every different fuel type there is.
In flatter, more open desert terrain, crews can often get ahead of a fire, cutting containment lines and using heavy equipment to slow its spread.
On this one, we're doing a lot of indirect. We're not going direct, right, because the fuels are too thick. We can't get guys directly on it. The dozers are trying to go as direct as possible.
But when a blaze moves into steeper, rugged terrain, the approach shifts dramatically. Aerial support becomes a critical tool when ground crews can't safely access a fire's path, with air tankers and helicopters dropping retardant to slow the burn while firefighters work from below. Here in Arizona, the combination of drought conditions, dense desert scrub, and unpredictable wind patterns create some of the most challenging wildfire environments in the country. Tiffany Davila works with the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management.
You're preparing for anywhere at any time.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good point you brought up is, we don't just fight fire in Arizona. Like I said, we go out of state and do that. There's different vegetation types, there's different landscapes, different terrain.
Fire managers say no two fires and no two landscapes are ever the same. But what stays constant is the preparation, the expertise, and the crews ready to adapt the moment conditions change.
So as a homeowner, if you live in Arizona, no matter what your backyard looks like, make sure that any dead or dying brush is removed from your property at least 30 feet. Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
And coming up, a prickly situation for a coyote pup.
You got it, huh? Oh.
A prickly situation for this pup.
This coyote is probably roughly between 4 to 6 weeks.
Who learned the hard way.
We got spines just about everywhere.
Cholla cacti are not to be messed with.
Personally, I haven't seen it to that extreme before. We've seen it like in the face or the paw, or you'll occasionally get like a dozen spines, but this was like, again, like head to tail, like everywhere. There were spines in the nose, there were spines in the mouth and the tongue, on the tail, on the body, underside, back. It was everywhere.
I'm a little worried that it's so close to his eyes.
For nearly 3 hours.
We're able to give lighter sedatives, so a little bit lighter than what we would for an adult coyote, but it definitely seemed to help. He was pretty calm through the whole thing.
The team worked pulling thousands of spines from the coyote's body. A tedious process.
You can see that these spines are barbed, how it pulls the skin like that, and they don't come out smooth.
That was most likely life-saving.
Some of these spines have gone completely through the ear.
It was probably just a goofy little coyote running around and stumbled into the wrong cactus.
Now with all spines removed.
We are getting the coyote set up in a warmed incubator right now.
The focus can shift from treatment to rehabilitation. The goal is to get it back in the wild.
It's been a week. He's doing really good. He's eating good. And he's been introduced to other orphan pups that we have there. So over the course of a couple months, this guy will be able to be released with other coyotes.
Released with hopefully a newfound respect for Arizona's prickliest plants. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
It's not odd to see a bird feeder in someone's backyard, but one Chandler family says someone in their neighborhood is putting out pounds and pounds of birdseed every single day, leading to their home and others looking like a classic movie from the 1960s.
You know the movie The Birds from Alfred Hitchcock? That is how we feel when we take our trash out.
Every day, Thane and Joy Martin wake up to this.
Hundreds of birds.
Wild birds piling onto their home and others.
That's one right there.
They said it started a few years ago. One of their neighbors puts out about 15 pounds of bird seed every day, leading to pigeons and other wild birds taking over. Every time they go outside, there's a chance they'll get a present from above.
We've been pooped on many times. Like, you can't even go put your trash out without the risk of getting hit with bird poop.
Leaving behind the mess you would expect, having to clean it up multiple times a day, but sometimes they just can't keep up.
There's nothing more irritating than seeing a little grandson putting a toy in his mouth and seeing the white stuff on his tongue and realizing it's bird crap on a pool toy that I didn't get a chance to clean before he found it.
The accumulation, Martin says, led to their roof prematurely failing.
That bird poop turns into acid, which eats the underlayment and the metal fascia, and it makes your roof fail early.
Costing them a lot of money in repairs, as well as deterrents to keep the birds off their home.
Ultimately, we had to spend thousands of dollars.
They tried talking to the neighbor and got nowhere, so they decided to go another route.
We shouldn't have to spend that money. That's the whole thing. And that's why we brought the nuisance bird ordinance forward.
The Martins creating their own petition, gathering signatures from neighbors and from other neighborhoods going through a similar problem. It led to a proposed nuisance ordinance in Chandler that prevents excessive bird feeding and keeping non-domesticated birds.
It's not saying that you can't have a bird feeder at your house. That's okay. But when the bird droppings start accumulating on other people's property, when you're causing damage, physical damage, right? Health concerns, that's when you gotta draw the line.
In order to keep homes and the neighborhood clean and safe.
The City Council will be voting on this ordinance at its next meeting this upcoming Thursday. We're in Chandler. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Bond votes, developer partnerships, population booms. The reasons these schools are building are certainly different, but what they do share is harder to manufacture. A community willing to invest in its schools. And in a valley where that decision is getting harder to make, the schools growing right now are the ones that found a way to earn that support. Call it growing pains. In the fast-growing West Valley, some districts are simply running out of room. Litchfield Elementary recently broke ground on its 17th campus to ease overcrowding. Agua Fria opened 2 new schools last fall and is adding a first-of-its-kind arts academy this year. In the East Valley, Mesa Public Schools is opening 2 new high schools, tucked inside existing junior highs to keep costs down. But in Central Phoenix, the equation looks different.
Really been intentional trying to engage the community and our taxpayers who approved the bond.
The Creighton School District is rebuilding Biltmore Preparatory Academy, its flagship dual-language immersion school originally built in 1954, while also facing declining enrollment.
That means we have to be more competitive.
Superintendent Jay Mann says at a certain point, the math on aging buildings flips.
We put so much money into just trying to keep this school functioning. You can only take your 1974 Pinto and put so many different new special parts into it to try to get more out of it before at some point you're like, maybe I need a new car.
The new Biltmore campus, designed around a Latin American-inspired courtyard with outdoor classrooms and student input, is funded by a voter-approved bond. 40 miles southeast, Great Hearts, Arizona found a different path. A developer donated that land for a new campus, opening in 2027 in Apache Junction's new Blossom Rock community.
What's the one thing moms and dads are going to ask about first? Is there a good school?
Great Hearts serves 16,000 students across 26 Metro Phoenix campuses. Co-founder Dan Scroggins says classical education is one of the fastest growing sectors in the country, and that even in a declining enrollment environment, a school with a clear identity can still attract families.
Really rich and robust curriculum combined with moral instruction and character education. And so families want that in this fast-paced digital world. So I think we're meeting the market, we're meeting the moment.
Different drivers getting shovels in the ground, but the schools opening their doors do have one thing in common. They've given families a reason to walk through them. The new Biltmore Preparatory Academy is set to open for the 2027 school year. Great Hearts Blossom Rock follows that fall, and the Hilltop School for the Arts in Litchfield Park opens this August. You'll find links to each of those individual projects within this story at 12news.com. That's your Education Impact. I'm Nohelani Graf, 12 News.
Coming up, a deli's secret sandwich that requires a code word.
Somewhere, someone knows something.
An emotional and heartbreaking plea.
I never imagined we would be here 4 years later.
From a mother.
Rachel did not deserve to have her life taken.
And father.
I humbly stand before you, and I beg and I plead.
Who are grieving the death of their daughter.
4 years ago today, my daughter bear with me. My daughter, I'm going to get through this. My daughter, Rachel, was murdered.
The pain, the loss, indescribable. Their focus, though, is finding answers.
It doesn't get easier, especially when there are no answers. It gets harder because fear sets in. The fear that we may never know. Are we going to get answers? Are things being investigated?
On June 4th, 2022, Kim and Todd Hansen's daughter Rachel called 911 after someone entered her apartment and shot her. She later died at the hospital. With nothing stolen, it's believed Rachel was targeted.
As many of you know, there's very little evidence, and we understand that. No weapon, no motive, no cameras.
Today we are here to bring her story to the community and to ask for your help to find the person who took her life.
Adding to the pain.
We've been patient for 4 years, and it's time to move the investigation forward.
Is frustration with communication and how the investigation has been handled.
We would like to ask the Gilbert Police Department, like to publicly ask them to engage other law enforcement that is familiar and has experience solving homicides like Rachel's.
For the Hansens.
I love you, Rachel, with all my heart.
They're turning their grief to action.
And I miss you deeply. Every single minute of every single day.
And are not giving up hope.
And like Mom said, we will not stop fighting.
That answers will one day come. Jake Cunningham, 12 News.
All haboobs are dust storms, but not every dust storm is a haboob. A haboob is formed when a thunderstorm causes a massive downdraft of air. That downdraft kicks up a giant cloud of dust, dirt, and sand and moves along in front of the storm with a well-defined edge to the cloud.
It's that kind of push that we get from those thunderstorms.
Arizona State climatologist Dr. Erin Ann Saffel says that's what makes a haboob, that giant downward push of air from a thunderstorm. Without it, it's just a dust storm.
In the 70s is where it became really famous when you're looking at the North American haboob.
Saffel says the word was used before then, but 1971 was different. That year, there were a couple huge dust storms that rolled through. One in May caused a massive pileup on I-10 and killed 7 people and hurt 25 more. That summer, another wall of dust blew through Tucson and into Phoenix at 29 miles an hour. 3 scientists with the National Weather Service saw it and thought it looked just like the dust storms that mow through Africa and the Middle East, called haboobs. They published an American haboob in the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society, saying they should always be called haboobs.
Looking at the fact that these large dust storms are generated by the downdraft of a thunderstorm, in the very similar way that you see those in Saudi.
But it wasn't until the late 90s that the word haboob really took off. Apparently, maybe, thanks to us here at Channel 12. Our weather staff back in the late 90s called a dust storm a haboob. It got picked up in the paper and made its way into everyday language. And this giant miles-high haboob in 2011 sealed the deal. Those photos and videos went around the world. But Saffel says haboobs aren't even unique to Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely. We get those in Texas. We get those in New Mexico. You can get them up in Utah.
Some of those states use the term haboob. Others don't. But whatever you call them, experts say when the dust comes, pull over, turn your lights off, and wait it out. William Pitts, 12 News.
What can I get you?
At Speed's Hangar Deli, things move fast.
And you want to eat here or you want to take it out?
And the sandwiches, even faster out the door.
I just give them a paper plate and I give them extra napkins and I wish them luck.
A lot of meat. The steak sandwich is my favorite thing to get.
Like I said, it's not a sandwich shop, it's a deli.
A deli with a story more than 3 decades in the making.
Last Labor Day was 33 years.
Deborah Kovacs grew up in New York and moved to Arizona for school, eventually turning what started as her ex-husband's dream into something entirely her own.
It is what it is. I'm remarried, so I've had the deli ever since, renamed it, changed it into my personality.
And personality, she's got plenty of that.
Not bad for an arthritic 71-year-old, huh?
She's the cook, the cleaner,
Made it.
and even the waitress. More recently, business has exploded.
I will take the phone off the hook sometimes.
All because of social media.
And I saw her on TikTok.
And a secret sandwich that requires a code word.
Do you know the code word?
Dude, what's the code word for the sandwich?
The internet has lost its mind.
I heard there's John Pork.
Over her John Pork sandwich.
He'll make him proud. He ate it in one sitting.
Oh yeah, all the way from New Hampshire for that.
It's a BLT on steroids with 18 strips of bacon.
2/3 of a pound.
A sandwich that's part meal, part challenge, and part internet joke.
I think it really does justice to like the sacrifice Mr. Pork made for our community. You know, some people climb Mount Everest. I finished the John Pork secret menu sandwich.
But Speed's Hangar Deli has plenty more to offer.
This is basically a chicken Reuben with bacon on it, German-style sauerkraut, cheese.
While the internet loves her personality, it's the food that keeps people coming back.
The prosciutto is natural from Italy. The brisket is natural from Austin, Texas. I make all my own tray food. I make my own ranch, Russian, Italian, spaghetti sauce, beef gravy, and beef chili.
Everything is made with one goal in mind.
People work hard for the money like I do, and they deserve their money's worth. You starve in here, you're either a teenager or it's your own damn fault.
With lines growing longer, Kovacs had to hire help.
I like to make this place run as a community. In that everybody talks to each other, doesn't matter what age group.
That sense of community, something Kovacs says matters more than the viral fame.
It's not all about content, it's about humanity.
As long as she's behind the counter, expect bold personality and big portions.
Trying to make it stay together, I give up.
I'm Kyle Simchuk in Prescott for Rediscover Arizona.
Thanks everyone for watching, and just a reminder, new episodes of 12 News in Focus premiere every Friday on the 12 News app. You can also watch past episodes. It's simple, just download the 12 News app on your TV devices and you can watch for free. I'm Caribe Divine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.